Kyle, I'm going to direct this towards you. As the New England Patriots fan, as the Tom Brady super fan, what did you think about this game, and what do you think about the outcome?
Well, I remember when we were first talking about this game last week when we were making our predictions that we thought that Tampa Bay was going to comfortably win this game by two possessions. And if the Patriots offense wasn't going to be able to score in any sort of way against the Bucs defense, that the Bucs could have potentially won by three possessions. And that just did not take place. Uh, the biggest factor probably of the entire game was the rain. It rained pretty much the entire first half. It stopped raining for most of the third quarter and maybe about like halfway through the fourth quarter, and then it really started raining in the last 3 to 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, and it definitely affected not only the Patriots, but it affected the Bucs as well. I thought Brady was okay, but he was missing some passes, and I imagine that's just due into part, balls wet. It's just slick. Guys were dropping balls. Brady was throwing high on some of the passes. That's just what weather will do, and that's how it will impact the game. But when I look at the X's and O's of this game, uh, the Patriots played the Bucs as well as you could play them. I mean, like you said, the Bucs only won this game by 2 points, and they only scored 19 points in the process. So you have to give a lot of credit to what Bill Belichick was able to devise as far as a defensive scheme against Brady. And they played phenomenal. They were able to get pressure against Brady. They were mixing coverages. They were mixing blitzes that they were showing to Brady. So they definitely made Brady uncomfortable in a sense to try to get some sort of consistency on the offensive side of the ball going. And it really kind of had that impact in the first half. And when you combine that with the rain, that's what happens when you have a 7-6 halftime score when everybody's expecting somewhat of a fireworks show when you got Brady going up against his old team and the Patriots. Really in the second half, that's where this whole game kind of opened up when it stopped raining. The Bucs offense was able to get more consistency, not only from Tom, but the run game. Leonard Fournette was an absolute monster in this game. He got close to about 100 yards rushing. He was also getting some plays out of the backfield in the pass game as well. He was really kind of the biggest factor for Tampa's offense the entire night, and he had a sensational game. I believe Rojo was the one running back that got them the touchdown in the third quarter. And then at the end of the game, I believe they were down by 1 point after the Patriots settled for a field goal that put them up 17-16. And then Brady marched them right down the field, got them in the field goal range, and they were able to take the lead with about 2 minutes left, like 2:05 left. And honestly, the Patriots kind of got lucky because Antonio Brown essentially had a touchdown catch, but when he was bringing the ball into his body, just his forward momentum when he was just rolling over, he lost the possession. That could have been a potential 6 points that would have really put a lot of pressure on Mac Jones and the offense to produce something, but just didn't work out that way. And then Mac Jones leads him down the field, gets him in the field goal range, and Nick Folk just hits it off the upright. I mean, it was a 56-yard kick. It's pouring down rain, and the fact that he got enough leg on that, it was incredible, but he just missed it. I mean, he hit it right off the upright. So, when I look at the results of this game, like I said, the rain definitely played a factor, but the Bucs made some really good second half adjustments. They focused on running the ball more because New England's rush defense is lackluster to say the least. And Tom did kind of take more of a back seat. He was able to complete a lot of third down conversions when they needed him to. But when you combine what they were able to do on the ground, what they were able to do with Brady in certain moments, and the defense coming up in very opportunistic moments, they were able to force some turnovers from the Patriots. They were also able to get the Patriots offense off the field when it mattered the most. And I mean, at the end of the game, probably one of the biggest plays that the Bucs defense had was a third down where Mac Jones is trying to throw the ball for a first down, and I believe it was Levante David or Shaq Barrett. They knocked down the pass, and that's what led to Nick Folk for the 56-yard field goal that he ended up missing. But overall, this was a fantastic game. It was a defensive game, which is kind of something that I think not a lot of people were expecting. But Brady gets it done, leads them on the game-winning drive at the end. I thought Mac was great. outside of the one interception that he had in the first half, he was sensational. He went on a 19 completion pass streak, which is just absolutely incredible for somebody his age and his youth in the league. I mean, he tied Brady's completion streak throughout his entire career at the same mark, which is just absolutely insane. So I think Mac Jones definitely showed me that he has a lot of promise and a lot of potential for the Patriots moving forward. But at the end of the day, Brady gets it done when it matters the most, puts him in the position to win the game, and the Patriots just could knock down the field goal at the end of the game. But all in all, it was a great return for Brady. The crowd was just electric from beginning to end, and in one of probably the biggest regular season matchups that we've seen in recent history. This game did not disappoint, and speaking as a Patriot fan, it was definitely tough to see Brady on the other side of the ball, but he definitely made his impact not only on this game, but for me as a fan, and I definitely appreciate what he was able to do tonight, and he was definitely gracious in victory after it was all said and done. So I mean, fantastic game from beginning to end. And Kevin, I'll kick it to you from here.
I mean, overall, from what I saw, again, wasn't really available to see a lot of it. I was kind of watching it from a distance, but that range has really kind of kept this to a limited basis. I mean, when you talk about weather, and we're talking not breezy, we're not talking about snow, we're talking about just straight rain. That changes the dynamic of an entire playbook. That, I mean, like, you guys could have been practicing a specific way with a specific play call in mind. Everything's out the window. It becomes ground and pound football. I mean, for the most part, when you think of rain, you just think of a lot of rushing attempts. And that just was not the case for New England. I mean, you guys had a total of 8 total carries. Damian Harris leading the way with 4 for -1 yards. That's absolutely horrendous. I understand that the Buccaneers have probably one of the best, if not the best, rush defense in the NFL. That does not mean you make your rookie quarterback in bad weather throw the football 40 times. Now, with that being said, the Buccaneers did run the ball 30 times for 119 yards, but Tom threw the ball 43 times. So, the saying kind of goes, if you can do it, I can do it better. I'm not really going to sit there and try to go toe to toe with the GOAT. I do respect Bill Belichick's play calling ability in this game. I do respect the fact that he was not going to shy away from Tampa Bay secondary, because we all know that that's their weakest attribute on the defensive side of the ball. But again, I will reiterate, you don't not run the football just because you are scared of the outcome or you feel like you do not have the personnel for it. You have to establish the run game, and it takes 1 or 2 good runs to make that play action honest. And it may have made Mac's life a whole lot easier for him throughout the night. So definitely something to look forward to throughout the future. Again, I do know that Mac went on that 19 completion streak, and he was able to really go out there and make a big difference on that side of the ball. But you do have to establish that run game and kind of make it consistent, because if not, if this is going to be a consistent pattern, I don't know what they're going to do when it actually does get dicey and competitive in the AFC. So we will see what happens go forward. Overall, like Kyle said, good game. It did turn up in the second half, and we did see some beautiful passes and some beautiful connections. But the GOAT gets it done in his first return back, and Tom has officially defeated every single NFL team out there. And I know not many quarterbacks can say that they've done that. You know what I'm saying? Like, was Peyton? I don't think Peyton was able to do it, because Peyton lost to the Colts twice in the 3 years or 4 years he was in Denver. So yeah, no, Brett did it because Brett was able to beat the Packers. But I'm saying, like, there's not many quarterbacks that can go around and say they've beaten all 32 teams.
Oh, absolutely. Because I think there's only been 4 players that have actually done it. I know Brady's one of them. I don't know the other 3 players off the top of my head. But I will say this, because we got to talk about the Buccaneers. Even though that they did win this game, they took some hits from this game, specifically on the injury front. Carlton Davis went down with a quad injury, what actually looked like a pretty significant one. He had to be carted out of the stadium when he suffered that injury. I believe it was in the 3rd quarter. And that already adds to a very weakened secondary for Tampa, because Sean Murphy Bunting's out for the foreseeable future. I think he had a collarbone issue. Jamal Dean is going to be out for the next couple of weeks. He's dealing with an injury. And then Antoine Winfield Jr., he left the game with a concussion. So
Damn.
You're looking at, 4 starters in Tampa secondary that are going to be out for the foreseeable future. And granted, they did take the win. They're currently sitting at 3-1, but they just signed Richard Sherman just a couple days ago, and he's going to be thrusted into that starting role, for the foreseeable future until they get all their guys back. So, I think Tampa's defense, they played pretty well against Mac. They were bringing constant pressure against Mac. They blitzed him a bunch of times tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if they blitzed him probably closer to 20 times when the
They
official
got to him
stats
though.
come
They
in.
got 4 sacks.
They dig it, but I will say this: Mac handled the pressure very well. He completed a lot of his passes. I think he was somewhere around like 12 of 16, 13 of 16 when he was presented with the blitz. And granted, he did have one interception against them, but he did have a touchdown against them. So, when you look at this result from beginning to end, I think honestly both teams could take some positives away from this game. Obviously, the Bucs are probably going to take a little bit more positives since they did get the win. But dude, the Patriots made them earn it. This was a well-fought game from beginning to end, and it basically goes against anything that we expected going into this game. But I think it was really compounded by the fact that it was just pouring for at least 3 quarters of the game.